All right, it's a wrap for the NBA All-Star break. It is over, and NBA games return on Thursday night. There are plenty of bets to make around the association, including many futures that are still in play. So it's time for another edition of Hittin The Books, and joining me to talk about some NBA bets is DraftKings content specialist Julian Edlow. Julian, pleasure to meet you. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, Dexter. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Always excited to talk some NBA hoops and betting. Combining the two is always good. So, Julian, let's start locally here with the Knicks. Odds for the Knicks finishing with the 6th seed or better in the East is at plus 140. Would you bet on New York to make the playoffs and avoid the play-in here?
I would. I think this is the best way to back the Knicks coming out of the All-Star break. There's a few ways you can. They're minus 400 to make the playoffs. Obviously, that's a ton of juice right there. And then the win total, they're sitting at 42 and a half, minus 135 on the over for their wins. So you got to lay some juice there too. I just think if the Knicks are going to go over that win total and win 43, 44, 45 games, they're going to have to land in this top six where they sit now. So I think getting the plus 140 makes a lot of sense. They have some big games along the way, including the Nets, who sit above them in the 5 seed in the standings. Nets are 2 games ahead of the Knicks, but their record obviously is reflective of having Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for the season. They've been shipped out. While I still like their roster, I don't think they're necessarily going to win at the same clip that they did towards the beginning of the season. And then a lot of the pricing here also factors in that the Miami Heat, who took the Celtics to a Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals last year, are going to improve in the standings. I don't necessarily think we've seen anything from the Heat to make that a worthy statement. The Knicks were actually the hotter team coming into the break. So I think the Knicks just have to keep doing what they were doing coming into the All-Star break, and they will go over that win total and avoid the play-in, finish top 6, and cash that plus 140 for us.
All right, so good value on the Knicks there at plus 140. Now we got to talk about some futures, Julian. Some bettors jumped on NBA futures prior to the start of the season, while others, they get in the game a little bit later. What are some of the best future bets that you like after the All-Star break here?
Yeah, that's the beauty of futures betting on DraftKings Sportsbook. You can basically get invested at any stage of the season that you want. But obviously, now that we're here, coming out of a week off in the NBA, it's a good time to kind of step back and reassess everything. And the play that I was the most about is actually the under on the Lakers. If you bet the win total for them at the beginning of the season, I believe it was 45 and a half. You're already looking great for that under. But 40 and a half is the number coming out of the break. This team, while I like the moves that they made at the break, getting rid of Russell Westbrook and Pat Beverly, get some more shooters around LeBron, get LeBron and Anthony Davis healthy, I don't think they're going to be a 500 team, which 41 and 41 or better is what loses you this bet. They're 27 and 32. They got to go 14 and 9 the rest of the way out to finish with 41 or more wins. I just think we've seen this one over and over. I mean, the Lakers won it all in the bubble, and props to them. But every other season of LeBron James and Anthony Davis has not gone well. And we just saw it last year. The Lakers were going to flip that switch and make the postseason, and they kind of just fell flat on their face and then shut LeBron down after they were mathematically eliminated. I don't see anything over the past few years of experience with this team that tells me that they're suddenly going to be one of the better teams in the NBA and make the push during the stretch here.
All right, so not buying the Lakers. Let's talk about the other LA team, the Clippers. They made several moves before the trade deadline, and now they've added Russell Westbrook. LA's odds of winning the titles pretty much remain the same here, Julian. Is betting on the Clips to win it all good value?
So I'm going to say no here because we don't really know what the Clippers are. And what I've been saying all season when I've been asked about the Clippers is, why don't we just wait until the start of the playoffs to bet them? Because they're probably going to be at the same number. They're not really breaking away from the pack in terms of their win-loss record. Kawhi rests all the time, load management. Paul George rests all the time. And now we have the whole Westbrook fiasco to figure out. Some would argue that Westbrook should hurt your title odds. I don't necessarily know where I sit with him right now. We'll see how he fits with the Clippers, but I don't think it helps them much, if at all. So if you want to bet on the Clippers, my advice would be to wait, see what their health looks like when the playoffs start, and now see how Westbrook fits in that culture. But to me, I just think that there's other teams. The West is wide open, but I think there's other teams in better shape, and the Clippers at some point you have to just kind of fault them for not having the type of chemistry together that some of these other teams are going to have because they have so many moving parts, guys in and out of the lineup. It's supposed to have been the Clippers' year for so many years now. I don't think I can trust it until we see it happen.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Really haven't seen their whole team on the court together, as you mentioned, and that is a reason you might want to stay away from betting on the Clippers. Now, betting on the league MVP, Julian, is always a favorite future bet. Nuggets center Nikola Jokic, he's going for his third straight MVP award. Is betting on him the best player, or would you go with another player here?
It's Jokic or nothing, and the price tag has really moved. If you're going to ask me about a bet on the Lakers or the Clippers or the Knicks, like I'm gonna give my analysis and what I project for the rest of the season, but it's partially a guess. It's my opinion. We're taking opinion out with the MVP now because they run straw polls now that essentially tell us where the voters are at. And the last one that was run by ESPN, I think Tim Bontemps had the article. 77% of the voters were voting Jokic first place. So it doesn't matter if I think it's voter fatigue or if he doesn't deserve it this year. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the voters think. And 77% are telling us that they are going to vote Jokic for a three-peat. So, if Joel Embiid hadn't gotten hurt some of these last couple years, I think maybe he has one and Jokic has one. But he has. Games played is a big deal, and Jokic has those games played. So unless he gets hurt, I can't justify going anywhere other than Jokic. And after that straw poll was released, Jokic went from minus 170 to minus 250 to win the award within a few hours on DK Sportsbook. So this is one of those markets, if you're betting on awards, drafts, which you can bet on the NBA and NFL drafts on DraftKings Sportsbook. These are information-based markets, so you got to handle them a little differently and take your opinion out.
Yeah, definitely, and the information comes out strongly favors Jokic winning his third straight MVP award. Now, lastly, Julian, the NBA returns with 9 games on Thursday. 2 of the marquee games have the Grizzlies at the Sixers and the Nuggets at the Cavs. What are the best bets that you have for these 2 matchups?
Yeah, I'm going with the 2 home teams here. We can start with the Sixers, who are hosting the Grizzlies. I bet this one at -4, and it actually ticked down to 3.5. So go get yourself a better number. But the Grizzlies, a really good team the last couple of years. A lot of that success at home. They're 9-18-1 against the spread on the road this season. They lost 9 of 13 going into the break, so they definitely needed the break. I don't know if it'll help them or not, though. They've lost 7 in a row on the road. Now they got to go to a Sixers team, 23-8 at home. They're 21-10 against the spread at home. Grizzlies as a road dog this season, just 1-7 against the spread. That's the worst mark as a road dog in the NBA. So I do like Philly there at home, and then I'm going to lay the short number with Cleveland as well at home. Pretty much the same story. Denver, really, really good team, 1 seed in the West. That's because they protect their home court, 27-4 at home. They're 14-14 on the road. They're a 500 team, just 12-16 against the spread. Now they got to go play a team that is elite at home in Cleveland. They're 25-6 at home, 19-10-2 against the spread in those home games. I also like, just from a matchup standpoint, they do have the guys size-wise to defend Jokic, or at least give him a tougher time in Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. They have some bigger guys. So I think it matches up well for Cleveland. And again, these are teams that just play well at home. And despite how good Denver and Memphis have been, they haven't been nearly as good on the road.
All right, there you go. The home teams, I like both of those picks tonight. The home teams on Thursday night, and 2 of those games should be a marquee matchup, should be good games. Always good content from Julian Edlow, DraftKings strategy content guru here. Julian, appreciate the time. Thank you, and we'll talk again soon.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me.